Hey guys, just wanted to walk you through recurring schedules and setting them up for the first time. Here is where they'll be listed at the very top. So you can see all the recurring schedules that you have currently set up, and any new ones that get added will also be up in there. And just a good thing to note that when you're working with recurring schedules or the calendar in general, you want to make sure that you set it up so that you're editing the schedule. If you want to edit all the classes in that schedule, if you want to edit an individual class, you do it from down here on the calendar. So let's go ahead and set up a new recurring schedule and show you some of the functions and settings that you can use while setting it up. So the first thing you can do is go to Actions over here and create class. Now, create class is used for a bunch of different things. One, create a one-off class. Two, a recurring schedule like we're going to be doing now. Or three, like a private session. So you start here and think of this as kind of like a template. So there's a bunch of things you're going to have here. Most of you are not going to see this online option unless you have the virtual component. So I'm just going to turn that off for right now. But basically, here's some of the settings you're going to see. The first thing is class type. You're going to want to go in and select the type of class that you're creating. And those, if you've seen in another video, are related to the memberships that house them. So if I click CrossFit, I can have those memberships. So if I click Open Gym, I can see down below here, these accesses change. So I'm going to go back to CrossFit. Those are the memberships I want to use for this class type. Now, the second thing is visibility. Public is primarily what you're going to use for recurring schedules, but private just means that you have to invite somebody or assign them. And I'll talk about those when we get down here in a second. Heats. When you're creating a recurring schedule, you probably don't want to set up heats, but heats can be added automatically later on to the individual classes. If you want to allow people to put themselves in a specific heat time, you can sort heats by, you can add like, heat 1, put start time, end time, how many spots, 3, duplicate. You can create as many heats as you want and put them in the time frame of what you're trying to accomplish for the specific class. Like I said, we're not going to use heats for this, so we don't need to worry about that for right now. So I'll just remove those and turn heats off. Okay, great. Moving down, calendar color. All right, so default is going to be whatever my backup button color that I set in my settings is. That's going to be my default, which is green for me. But maybe I want this to be a little bit different. So maybe I want to say custom color. I click here and I want to make this red. And so now it will show up as red. Next item is set cancellation policies. So here are two different cancellation policies that you can set. The first one, cancel class if no registration within, really just means if a class has 0 people registered within, let's just say 1 hour, then it automatically cancels the class, which means it removes it from the calendar. And it also emails the coach that was supposed to be coaching that class and says, hey, this class was canceled because no one registered. If you have that as something that you want to have set up, you can go ahead and do that there. The second cancellation policy is around users that are already registered. So if you have users that are registered, how soon or how close to a class can they actually unregister? So let's just say 30 minutes. So this means that if they're within that 30-minute of class start time, they cannot or are not able to cancel for this class. All right, so now that you have that set up, you're gonna come over here, in-person stuff. You're just gonna say, what's your max participants? Maybe I have 15. Free class. If you want to use a free class, it really just means that no memberships are required. It's a free class. It is what it is. So rarely we ever use this, so I would keep it set to no. Then limit registration time. What this means is how far out do you want to allow someone to register on your calendar? So like, do you want to give them a week? Do you don't really care? Do you want to give them 2 weeks, 48 hours? I know a lot of people that do like 48 hours because then they can only like register up to 2 days in advance, and people don't register too far out and start blocking out classes and don't show up. So those are the first things you're going to set up for when you're thinking about creating this recurring schedule. The next is actually the schedule. So we're going to go ahead and start. We can start from today because it's just going to build it from today forward, which is totally fine. And we're going to go ahead and say, what's the first time? And unless you have classes on Sunday, I always say, what's the first class on Monday? And so let's just say it's 6 a.m. Actually, let's do 5 a.m. Sorry, just because I think I already have a 6 a.m. on there. Do 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Okay. And then I can say this is going to repeat. And I'm going to say it repeats Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe Friday just for fun. It repeats every 2 weeks, which means it's like every other week. So you could kind of set these things up however you want. The stop recurring, I wouldn't enter something in here unless you need it to only be a week or two or whatever out. We automatically create 3 months out on the calendar, and then the new week gets added every Saturday night through a job. All right, once you create the first time, you click this right here, it duplicates it. Then you move forward and say, okay, my next time might be 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. and so on. And maybe this one doesn't have Wednesdays, doesn't have Fridays. So you can kind of keep doing that. Build all your classes that are the same, meaning we're doing a CrossFit type class. So all the classes have the same name, which is the next thing we're going to do is what you want to do. So anything that's called CrossFit, you're going to put in the schedule, do it all at the same time. If you have Open Gym or something else that's named different, do those schedules separately. And then you can also color code them separately too. All right, I skipped over these, but I want to talk about them real quick. Invites and assignments. These two things are typically used with a private class. They technically can be used with the public class, but the idea is you can add an athlete to an invite, meaning that they'll get invited to the class. They have to accept the class. They'll get an email. It happens in the app. It kind of walks them through the process, but this is they have to accept the class to actually join it. Versus an assignment just assigns someone to a class automatically, so they're pre-registered for that class. They have no notifications. You can use either methodology when you're setting up a private or even a public class if you'd like. Coming down here, you can do a picture of the day. Probably wouldn't do it on a recurring schedule. This is something more on the class or for that week you'd want to do. And really, there's nothing else that you want to set up through here for recurring schedules, except for these settings. These are maybe things that you want to set across the whole. So I'll talk about what each one is. This one is allow scores for non-registered users. This means anyone can just come into your gym and put scores in. Probably not a good idea unless you're needing that to be an option. Hide workout from everyone. This means you can say, I want to hide this workout 24 hours before. So the actual workout criteria and the data in this specific situation would not be visible until 24 hours before the class starts. This one is hide workout details from non-members. Now, this is if you just want to not show anyone that doesn't have a specific membership the workout. They can still see the class, but they just can't see the workout. You would select this. Whereas this option, hide on the calendar, if no membership, means that if anyone does not have a membership for this specific class that's listed above that we talked about already, then they won't even show up on the calendar for them. Great. Let's do all this. I'm going to uncheck this, don't really care. And we're going to click save. And so what this is going to do is it's going to go out. It's going to create 3 months of all the calendar stuff that I just created. It's going to put it on here. So you can see you have a little refresh button up here sometimes. There you go. Boom. So you see, there you go. Friday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If I go into next week, I can see that this is in here. Now I have Friday. So Friday was every other, if you remember. And so those are red. That's basically how it works. You can go into here and see your different recurring schedules that you just created. So that's basically it when it comes to recurring schedules. So there's not much more to know. As things change, we'll always update videos. But for now, if anything looks different or if you have any questions at all, go ahead and email support@streamfit.com and we'll see you out there.